Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Next Level Real Talk Podcast, where we have conversations on the journey of personal transformation and the pursuit of lasting peace and happiness with Sheldon and David. And welcome to another episode of Next Level Real Talk Podcast with Sheldon and David. David is coming to us from a new location in his place.
Yep. Going
So,
through a few health issues, but
yeah,
we're doing fine.
uh,
That's why we weren't there last week. Kind of just took a break. Going through some. We won't go into it, but I'm doing much better, feeling better. So I'm kind of sitting on the couch instead of sitting in my spare room. So, yep, doing good though. So yeah, things might
cool.
look a little different. I might move things now and then, but don't worry, we're alive.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We're
So.
just moving and adapting with the circumstances, right? Doing the
Mhm.
best we can. Um, which kind of is what we were wanting to talk about, right? Is just like
Yeah,
you got sometimes you got to adapt, sometimes you got to look at things and your
and comparing
perspective.
and going through what I'm going through, I can compare myself with others. Of hey, how come their situation is different than my situation? Um, but that I can't do that because I'm in a different spot than those others.
Yeah,
And it's a blood pressure issue. I'll tell you that up front, people. But it's something I've never dealt with. I've never had blood pressure issues. But it's like, well, how come this person has that and I'm in great? Everyone says I'm in great health, but why am I this way and they're not?
yeah,
How can that be? So, but you can't compare.
yeah,
So you shouldn't compare. Let's put it that way.
yeah,
You
and
can compare, but you shouldn't compare. So I apologize for saying it that way.
yeah, you can do whatever you want. It's just a
Yeah.
matter of this our podcast, right, is talking about pursuit of lasting peace and
Hmm.
happiness,
Yeah.
and the quote, we're talking about using that comparison is the thief of joy, I guess, is Google is saying
Hmm.
that might be attributed to Theodore Roosevelt. And may whether it is or not, there it's like a truism, right? I do think that there's a lot of truth to that idea that when we compare, it robs us of our own happiness and our own peace and our own joy, right?
Yeah. Totally. And because many times, as we mentioned before on this on the podcast, but I was reading one of my devotionals and it talks about comparing yourself, to others. Like if I'm in a situation, it talks about some people are on their baby steps. People can take giant steps. I can I can sit there and judge someone. If Sheldon and I went through divorce and say Sheldon's going through divorce, I've been there. And I'm like, dude, just do this. Get over
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah,
When I was going through, people were saying like, well, just do this, get over it. Not in a mean way, but
yeah,
just kind of going like, well, this is where you need to be.
yeah,
Well, I know, but I need to process my way there. I'm
yeah,
still on the baby steps.
right,
And so they could have judged me and said, like, dude, you're such a wuss. Get
yeah,
over it. You
yeah,
should be here. Because they're already at the giant
yeah,
steps because they processed through.
yeah,
Um, if I'm on the baby steps, I could compare myself to someone like, God, I'm so jealous. How can that person have already be this level when they went through divorce and I'm at the same weeks or whatever, and I'm nowhere near it
yeah,
because we're different,
yeah,
because we are different.
yeah.
You can learn from those that are going through the baby steps, can learn from those that have taken the giant steps. And those that have taken the giant steps, hopefully you can help them walk through those baby steps to get to where you are
Yep.
because we're all on a different set of paths of where we are. It just takes that support. So,
Yeah, and when you are looking at, "Oh, why am I dealing with this?"
hmm.
"So and so never had to deal with that," or, you know, that idea of comparison and looking at other people, looking at where they are in a process, whether it's a healing process or what,
Uh huh.
people will look at that in all kinds of different ways. Why is that person faster than me and they can run faster and I wish I could run as fast, or whatever the thing is, right? Why is
Yeah.
when we compare, it does rob you of your joy. There's no doubt about it, and it kind of puts you in a little bit of a victimhood state.
Hmm.
Like woe is me, I'm a victim of the world, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we had the talk with Corey last couple weeks ago,
Uh huh.
which was a really powerful
Wow.
uh, message she had, right? An interview
And
and
if
talk
you
about
haven't
her
heard it, we tell you to go back because it was really powerful, and she's just a wonderful person, and she's got such a
yeah,
good story, and so blessed
beautiful
that she
light.
opened up with us. She opened up. So
Yeah, it was really beautiful and a powerful story. But one of the things she talked about is that switching from the universe happening to you to the universe happening for you.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
meaning, when you say the universe is happening to you, meaning circumstances are happening to you. Woe is me.
Mhm.
Why did this happen to me? It puts you in
Yeah.
kind of a what's called a victimhood state, right? Like I'm a victim of the world. And I say
Yeah.
this with absolute compassion because when you're in the middle of stuff, it always feels like that, right? When you're in the middle of
Yeah.
this stuff, you're like, why is this happening to me? Right. I mean, that's a very natural thing
Mhm.
to place to be.
Mhm.
Um, and oftentimes, as we move through a process and we get out of it, we look back on it in retrospect. We say, "Wow, here's the silver lining. I wouldn't be the person I am
Yeah.
today if I hadn't been through this challenge." Right? You were saying, but you don't have a testimony without a test, right? Your pastor
Yeah.
was saying that, right? Which is a beautiful way
Uh-huh.
of putting it, right? But you have to have these tests. When you're in the middle of the test, it sucks, right?
Yeah.
And and that's when comparison can happen, right? Like, why do I have
Yeah.
to go through this? And that person never did something like this, and blah 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 blah, right?
Mhm.
And we're
Yeah.
looking at other people's lives or other circumstances and saying, I would rather have that than this.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to just be in the space of like, okay, here's where I'm at. That's
Mhm.
okay, you know,
Yeah.
and not looking in your brain because your brain does that from a survival standpoint, right? You're literally wired to compare to see threats,
Yes.
right? Your brain is threat
Mhm.
assessing everything. Is that am I safe? Is that a danger to me, right? So you're kind of wired to do that naturally on a certain level, right? And that's why we always talk about
Mhm.
stop, drop, and breathe, getting
Yeah.
dropping into the heart, because that takes you out of the analytical brain, which is a fear-based survival thing,
Mhm.
right? Gets
Yep.
you into the energy of your heart, which is your soul, your divine spirit, and that's what's eternal, right? Is this part of you that is eternal. And when you get out of the mind, and which is relative, meaning it's always comparing. That's what the brain does, and it's part and it believes that the only thing that is real is your physical body. You get out of that space into the feeling, vibrational, felt state of your beingness, which is in your heart space. It shifts you out of that a little bit, right? Doesn't do it perfectly, right? Doesn't do it all the time, right? But that's part of
Yeah.
the whole goal is training that, right? And getting into that space. I mean,
Mhm.
even with your physical stuff, you had said you were able to do some of the golden sun meditations,
Yeah.
right?
So
But it
so a big thing when it started out, I didn't know what was going on. The first
yeah,
episode I had, I was, like, freaking out, obviously.
yep,
Um, but
because
then the
your blood pressure was skyrocketing through the roof to the point
yes.
where you thought you were gonna pass out,
Yeah.
right? So it
And
wasn't just a
so
little like, "Oh, I'm stressed." It was like,
it
boom,
was yeah. It was
and with no
it was
trick.
in the ER twice.
Yep,
And so then after those 2 visits, then I I had another episode, and I was laying on the couch, and I just started thinking my way through. I knew how long it would take because I've been through a couple of them already, and says, "Okay, let's just breathe." And so I sat there, turned on some music, had my little Spotify Christian stations, just boom, let it run. And I laid there, and then I just breathed, talked through it, and uh, 3 hours ended, and I started feeling really better. And so instead of being anxious and being scared through it, um, yes, I was nervous and kind of worried when I went through it without calling, paramedics. Um, it was just like, okay, I can do this. It was more a control of I've been there now. I know what I need to do. So
yeah.
it's kind of, yeah,
It was like you this place that you were at, which was skyrocketing blood pressure,
hmm
and it does some weird things to your body, right?
yeah,
Even though that's kind of terrifying, you'd done it a couple times already, been through it a couple times, so it's like
yeah,
familiar a little bit, right?
yeah,
And you might not have control, but you also knew, hey, I can control my breath, and I can just sit here with this and be with this
hmm
place, and it'll pass through, which is a pretty huge challenge. But the other thing the point I was gonna make was that you have been practicing golden sun meditation and this idea of
yeah,
breathing for a long time, for years, right?
yes,
And that's what one of the things we always emphasize is that you want to practice it when nothing's going on.
hmm
So you know how to use it when things are going on.
yeah,
And this is
hmm
kind of an extreme example of that, but
yeah,
it's true, right? It's like
yeah.
had that been the first time, like let's say you were having one of those attacks, and then you called me and I said, "Oh, try to do some breathing," you'd be like, "Fuck you," you know what I mean?
What is that? What is that? I don't need it.
That would
You
not
know
be the time to learn how to do that, right?
exactly. And the first couple when I was trying to breathe before everything happened, I was doing it myself.
Yep.
Um, the last couple of days, I have it on my phone because it's, by the way, one of our episodes. I want to say it's episode. hold on, I got to do a tag for ourselves. um, episode. There's the intro. Golden Sun 2411. Episode 2411. It's a 7 minute cast. It's just the Golden Sun meditation. So Sheldon walks through the Golden Sun meditation, which I have now listened to 4 times in the last 2 days.
Yep.
So just instead of doing it myself, it's
Yep.
there. I'm like, okay, let's just go through it. But if
Yep.
I can't get to my phone, I know I can do it myself.
Right.
So know
Beautiful.
that it's there for you to use, people. It's out there.
And it's been helpful for you.
Yes, it
In
has.
real time as these things are
Mhm.
happening, you're able to use this, very simple thing. But again, also if you're listening to this, the idea is that you use that and you practice it and you do it regularly because you will
Mhm.
feel better. Number one, it'll help you immediately in the short term, but also long term, you have a tool in your back pocket that says, "Hey, I know how to settle down. I know how to relax myself." So that if
Yeah.
something stressful does happen in your life, whatever that is, you have a tool to help you deal with
Mhm.
that level of stress and things that come up, right?
Yes, and it's a good one. It's just nice and easy. It's quick 7 minute. I know it's 7 minutes, people, but it's good. So definitely,
Yep.
yeah. So that has really helped a bit, and that comparing, it takes there's no joy in this, blood pressure, high blood pressure thing. Um, the It's only been not even 2 weeks yet since the first episode, so it's kind of new, and so it's if I it sounds weird, people. I know, but roll with me here. It's like, okay, now I got to experience this to see what's going on. What is the process? What am I
Mm.
feeling? I now pay so much more attention to my body. And but if I'm sitting there comparing myself to other people, I'm not experiencing what I need to experience. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? I don't know what I need to experience here. I don't know what's going to come out of this. We
Right.
really don't. But I'm I'm I know it says, comparison sucks out the joy, but I'm not talking about this as joy. Um, but if I compare myself, I'm not going through the process and living through the process. I'm
Yep.
more worried about the process.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
So,
And
yeah.
and one thing that we know for sure is that the worry won't help.
No. And
It just
and
makes
it's
it
sad.
worse.
Yeah. The sad thing is, so I got this blood pressure issue, or yeah, blood pressure. By the way, my heart's perfect. 4 doctors have said your heart's great and you're in great health.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
great,
So that's a
thanks.
good thing. That's one good
Yeah,
thing. You've been
that's a
tested
good
out
thing.
the yin yang and everything's fine.
Yeah, got to find the source of this thing. Um, but as I don't know where I was going, but as I go through it, my uh, the the agony and the pain of the this is no longer there. Now
Yeah.
it's just feeling the rest of my body
Yeah.
and saying, where are we at? Because I don't have it was weird. There was no pain, but I could feel the near passing out, the
Yeah.
fuzziness, the
Yeah.
I call them fuzzies and the
Yeah.
dizziness.
Yeah.
And and just had an episode a couple days ago and I didn't feel this at all.
Mhm.
Anything in here, fuzziness, it was just like, okay, your heart rate's up.
Yeah.
It's just paying attention to it
Yeah.
and knowing where you are. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that's where I was going. I don't know. I'll get it back to it in a minute. So,
It also the other thing that was coming into my head when we were talking earlier about the comparison was that and I had to look it up here because I forget exactly what's the serenity pair,
mm,
the serenity pair that's used in the 12-step program all the time, right? But what is it? God grant me serenity to accept the things that I
oh,
cannot change, the courage to change the
yep.
things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference, right?
Yeah. Serenity
So,
Prayer is great. Yeah. Just let
so
me know what, yeah. Hmm.
yeah, so it's kind of like, um, yeah, the serenity to accept what I can't change, right? So,
Yes.
it's just like, okay, I'm here right now. Let's just,
Hmm.
work our way through
And
this.
yeah. And as I'm going through this, um, I want to go, of course, I want to be out of it by now. I want to be done.
Right.
Okay. Figure it out. Let me out. Let me go back to life.
Yep.
Um, it's going to take time, and that's what
Yep.
one of my cardiologist PA, Stephanie, wonderful, give her shout outs if she even ever listens to this thing one day. Um, so wonderful. Went back for my follow up because after the second ER visit, they wanted me back, obviously. Um, she explained a lot and put me at ease.
Mhm.
It was great, how doctors sometimes, sorry doctors, but you can't. You're at this level. You come down to the list level, but we're down at this level.
Yeah.
So she brought way down so that I could understand things and help me feel good. Um, but as I'm going through this, I'm saying, why can't I be here? Why doesn't this 10 milligram of this medication work? Why doesn't this work? Why isn't this working? This is supposed to be the problem. It's high blood pressure medicine. Why isn't it working?
Yep.
Well, it's a process,
Yep.
and leads me to one of my oops, not there. One of my little songs when I was listening, to songs. Hey,
Yep.
there's two wonderful kids. The When I was listening to songs, one of them. Let me get to where I'm going. Okay, one of them is called "Trust in You" by Lauren Daigle, and in these two lines, um, when it's you, it means God, Jesus. Okay, it means that, and as I'm going through this, I want this to work now, but there's some reason we need to go inside me and find out what's causing this. Yes, they can give me 500 milligrams of my meds and nothing will happen to me again. I'm good, good. But what's the source? What's causing this problem? It's not the heart,
Yep.
So we got to go find something else now.
Yep.
So I want the answer now. If the heart's, but I'm not getting that. So this kind of came up and I was listening to it as I was laying there. I'm going, wow, that's pretty cool. Heard this song many times and heard it different now. Um, so I'll read the two lines and I'll come back to it. It says, when you, God, when you don't move the mountains I'm needing you to move, when you don't part the waters I wish I could walk through. And then
Yeah.
she goes on to the rest of the song. And it's a great song about going, I give it to you. I trust you.
Yep.
I trust you.
Yep.
But those two lines, I know she didn't mean it this exact way, but that's what she's saying. Because the next line says, um, when you don't give the answers and I cry out to you, I'll just trust in you. I know you're going to make it work. And
Yep.
that's where I am. But that first one, when you don't move the mountains, I'm needing you to move. Like I need to get over there. I want to be this. Well, how come you're moving that mountain and not mine? Well,
Yep.
maybe God's wanting you to go around that mountain and not
Yep.
over this mountain. So you got to look at it going like, well, and the second one is like, I wish I could, you don't part the waters. I wish I could walk through. It's like, well, if you walk down there about a mile, there's an open river. You can walk
Yeah.
right through it. I
Yeah.
need you to go there, not
With all
here.
these
That's not
beautiful
that.
experiences and beautiful opportunities, and maybe there's this person you're supposed to meet, and
Yep.
maybe there's a thing that's supposed to happen over there, and it's all meant to be, and I'm planning this thing out for you, but you keep forcing the other way.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's,
It's like,
and
"I'm
we
trying to
talked
bring
about
you
it.
this pot of joy over here, but you keep wanting."
And we talked about it a couple episodes ago about just following with what comes up and
Yep.
asking, "Hey, is this where I need to go, or is this just a block in the road, or is it a new stepping stone in the road? Where
Right.
am I?" And
Right.
so that when that came up, was like, "Wow, that's pretty cool." It's like, I want you to move this mountain. Why aren't you moving it? Well,
Yep.
I did. I moved that right over there for you. So
Yep.
step around the rock and go up this way. You
Yep.
know. So that's the thing of like with me, kind of. Instead of just fighting it, going like, I'm angry. Oh God, what am I doing? Which is going to, by the way, bring my blood pressure up. Um, so you got to have that balance. You're just
Yep.
like, okay, where are we going?
Yep.
And I'll tell you, Stephanie, the PA, really put me at ease and allowed me to be like, okay, this is where we're going.
Yep.
It's not going to be tomorrow. It's
Yep.
not going to be next
It
week.
take a
It's
little
going to
time.
be
There's
a
a
little while.
journey. Yep.
And I've learned how to process through it.
Yep.
My day isn't a normal go, 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 go as I do. At work, I go in, do a couple things, and I'll go lay down on one of the couches.
Yep.
Breathe, sit
Yep.
down, breathe. My
Yep.
student assistants, oh my gosh, I believe me, anyone out there knows me, I don't stop. Well,
Yep.
believe me, I got eyes on me 24/7 at work.
Yep. Yep.
Um, Not only the staff, but the student assistants like, Smithers, sit. And they make me sit down, they make me drink water, and then they go, okay, you can go. So I'm taking control, they're taking control of me. But it's being able to change yourself
Well, it's a
and look
beautiful
at
that's
yourself,
also a beautiful
you know?
experience to allow yourself to be supported,
Yeah.
you know what I
Hmm.
mean? And to allow people to help you, to not feel
Hmm.
like, because that's especially for us guys, I think, but for all of us, but, I think
Yeah.
it is a thing for guys, right? To be the
Hmm.
man, to be the doer, to be, make
Yeah.
things happen, all that kinda energy, right, of you have to be doing stuff. And the goer, right? First in, last out. I always talk in our work, we always talk about, I'm the first one to
Yes.
work and I'm the last one to leave and all that kind of stuff, right? And there's
Hmm.
almost like a
Yep.
badge of Jacqueline would talk about it, there's like a badge of honor for, working yourself to the bone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like, do we really need that? And maybe it's a balancing in life, right? Maybe this is one of
And
the
maybe
lessons.
God's telling me, God's saying, hey, this is what it's not, yes, this is going on right here.
Yeah.
Okay, there's something going on in this body, but maybe it's something else that he wants me looking at.
Yeah.
Sort of pay
A
attention to it.
and
Like,
and
hey,
maybe it is
you know,
just slow down a little bit, dude. You don't need to
yeah,
go. You don't need to be the
exactly.
goer. Maybe you just need to
Mm-mm.
take some more breaks.
And I'm gonna do a shout out to Kayla Glanzer. She's one of my fellow workers at North, who I knew from City of Phoenix, lifeguarding stuff. So when all this started going down, there's a group of my texts, that I was just kind of updating, and she sent me this. This is a text, and this is somebody who obviously knows me, because Sheldon will laugh because he'll be like, "Yeah, that's real." She says, "Love you forever and always. Please let us know if there's anything we can do to help you. I know you don't like needing help, but we'd love to take care of you any way we can."
Oh, it's beautiful.
I was like, "Well, that was real."
Yeah.
Because no, I don't like being. I want
Uh,
to be taking care of people, helping
yeah.
people. No,
Yes.
and one, and this is beautiful. Ooh, Kai. I have to take my glasses up on this one. Kai, I was laying down, and another coworker, Kai walks over and she says, "Hey, how you doing?" I hadn't talked to her yet, about everything, and I stood up and I was talking to her, and she kind of pointed at my chest, and she goes, "You need anything? Let me know." And she pointed right at me,
Yeah. Yeah.
not into me. I just said, "Hey, no, don't deprive me don't deprive me of being a friend that can help you.
Yeah.
Because if I was in the same, if it was switched, I know you would take care of me,
Yep.
and so I want to be able to do that for you. So
Yep.
don't deprive me as a
Yep.
friend of that friendship
Yep.
thing that I want to do for you." I was like, "Wow, that's beautiful."
Yep.
Just go some, just don't do, like if I said no on anything, Kai, leave, get out of here. That's kind of like going like, "Well, shit, you don't care about me."
Yep.
It's like, no, you know what, Kai, thank you. Give her a hug, and then say, "Hey, you know, we'll make this work." Give they a hug.
Yep.
Sorry, Kai. I corrected myself, Kai. Give they a hug, and at that point, I was like, wow, new perspective.
Yeah.
Allow others to help you because
Yep.
I'm depriving them of that friendship.
Yep.
And when Kai said that, I was like, wow, that's
Yeah.
great. And then Kayla saying that, I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. I don't like needing help, but I'm
Yeah.
depriving people of having that.
Their
That's what friends are
opportunity
for.
to be helpful.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
you're not letting them be helpful because you wanna
Hmm.
be the helper all the time. Let them be the helper
Exactly.
once in a while.
Yeah.
And, yes, it's a beautiful,
So,
powerful, uh, perspective shift, right? Is,
yes.
you're the that's actually that's big in the Buddhist world, right? Because of karma.
Hmm.
In karma,
Yes.
"Oh, I want good karma by being helpful to people, then I have a better life next time." And Buddha used to say it's not about getting a better life next time, it's about transcending all of that, right? But
Yep.
part of that dynamic in some of those teachings is allowing somebody to be helpful too. You're giving
Yeah.
them the opportunity to build their karma kind of thing, right? Like, it's a two-way street.
Exactly.
All relationships are two-way, right? And it's giving and receiving. Right?
Yeah.
And sometimes we
Hmm.
get focused on giving, and some people are focused on receiving all the time, right?
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Because there are people in the world that are, like, very good at
Yep.
receiving, and then there are people in the world
There's ones that love to receive
that
and not give. There's ones
yeah,
that love to give and not receive.
yeah, and
And
it's
then there's
about the
the middle
balance.
person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's about the balance.
So,
So and maybe that's
and I
one of the lessons that you have here, right? Is the
exactly.
ability to receive, the ability to slow down a little bit, to take
Hmm.
more breaks maybe,
Yep.
um, to be kind, gentle to yourself, to know that you can pass through this thing. Like we always talk about in the meditation, this too shall pass. That what you're
Yeah.
realizing is even in this extreme circumstance, this too will pass. It's taking 3 hours, but you've now learned that. Hey, if I just
Yeah.
sit here for 3 hours, this is going to go. Um,
Hmm.
maybe those are lessons. Maybe there's another lesson in there too, right? And
Exactly.
but
I
these,
don't see it yet, but
yeah,
I need to be open to. There's
right,
something I'm going to learn in this whole
right,
process. Besides that, there was a spike in my blood pressure.
yeah.
There's something
There's a lesson
um
here for me.
innate to learn from there. Yeah, that's going to
Yeah,
be something different from
yeah,
you know this,
yes,
because my diet has been good.
yeah,
I have not drank in 4 weeks.
yeah.
Someone, by the way, it's a sidebar. It's kind of funny. Someone says, "Okay, what have you changed? Your diet? No. Have you exercised? No. If anything, I'm doing a little more exercise. The only thing I've done is stop drinking. I haven't drank in 4 weeks." I said,
And they're
"I'm
like,
just,"
maybe you need to get back to drinking.
and I go, "Wait a minute." I go, "I'm not a doctor, but one and one equals two. So if I stop drinking and now I'm having a problem, I think I need to start drinking." That might be a little good with the cardiologist. I'm just going to say right there. But I tried. So,
That's awesome.
but yeah, but I mean, and maybe that's one thing.
Yeah,
Maybe that's I didn't drink a lot. Okay, I don't come home and drink.
yeah,
I don't there's hardly alcohol at home. And people, if you're listening to this, don't buy me alcohol when you come to a party with me because I'm not going to drink it later. It just sits in the fridge. I don't
yeah,
come home to drink.
yeah,
I'm not that kind of person. I have to have 2 beers or whatever.
yeah,
If I come home and want to have a beer, I'll go to the restaurant bar. Hang out there and have a bite to eat. Come home. When I do go, I do like to drink, so I don't over drink to where I'm, you know,
yeah,
but I drink a lot. So maybe that's where it's the, hey,
Yep.
maybe that's one thing I'm gonna learn out of this.
Yeah.
But God, I've already learned that. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's fix this quickly. I'm just giving myself a little line to God
Right,
real quick.
right.
Okay, please.
It's not that we don't want those things, right? It's not that we say, "Hey, I'm working on this, Serenity shit, but I still want
Yeah,
it."
but I've learned my lesson, so come on, let's get
Yeah,
this
let's
over
go,
with.
let's go, let's go. That's real talk right there.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. Oh, but I've learned just to calm down, like some of that laughing will get me racing a little bit, but it's
Yep,
like, you just kind
yeah,
of relax right now, relax and breathe a little bit.
yep,
Um, and just staying on pace where I need to go, and I got people checking in, and I'm
yep,
making sure I'm checking in with people.
yep,
So it's, and I've learned what I need to do, what my limits are, and what, okay, if this happens, I need to do this. This happens, I need to do this. Um, but
so
the biggest thing in this whole, okay, I'm not sure how much longer we got left, but in this whole podcast is like, one, don't judge others for where they are.
yeah,
Being that, what step are they on? If
yeah,
you're already past, you're making giant steps, you're doing, wow, you're doing really well. Help that person that you see that's taking the baby steps, it's just going through it, just starting. Um, be that generous person. Don't ridicule them going like, God, why don't you do this? Oh, well, I'm already there, they're not. Let me help them get to where I am
yep,
and have the blessing. um, and then the other one is just being open to where you're going. I mean, in that song, it's like, hey, the mountain's not coming down, he's not moving mountains for me. Well, he moved that one right there, so you got to
yep,
walk, you know half a mile and go through that mountain rather than here, because there's something, as you said, something great down that journey
mhm,
than where you thought you were going. So be open to that.
yep,
Always be open to that. So, and be
being
open to,
receiving
if you're
support.
a giver, be willing to be given to
Yes,
receive it. If
yes.
you're a full receiver, be willing to see how you can make that help others at that point.
So that'll be
So,
the homework.
yep,
If
that
you
is.
know that you're a giver, look for an
Hmm.
opportunity to receive,
Hmm.
and if you know that your tendency is to be receiving all the time, look for an
Yeah,
opportunity to give.
yeah, I love that. Oh, that's great homework.
So that's
Wow,
the homework.
Joe's
That'll be the
learning
homework.
about homework. Yay!
Woo!
'Cause I didn't know what was homework going to be.
Well, hey, somebody's gotta pick up the slack. You're not feeling
That's
100%,
right.
so,
That's perfect. I love it. That is, I love it. If you're a receiver, be willing to find an opportunity to
look
give.
for an
If you're a giver,
opportunity to give.
receive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
so
that's
that'll be
it.
the
Well,
homework.
hope you're having a great week, and keep that smile on. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks for tuning in, and, oh, yeah, one last thing right here.
Oh yeah, make sure
I
to
forget
share. Okay, share, like, go back, listen to some episodes. Remember the Golden
please
Sun.
like, subscribe, comment,
Golden Sun meditation is
share.
down there. 24. I forgot what number it was already, but go back there and look at that, and definitely go back and look at Corey's interview we had a couple
Yes.
weeks ago.
Yes.
The last episode,
She's awesome.
25, 26. Yeah.
Yep.
So, yep, like, share, subscribe, comment, let us know what you think, and we'll definitely see you next week.
Love you
Keep
guys.
smiling.
Take care. Bye.